If work-life balance seems like a phrase people toss around at you, like you're supposed to just choose it, I want to name what that can sound like in a teacher's brain. Cool. When? Because for a lot of us, the real issue isn't that we don't want boundaries. It's that we're walking out of the building with so many open loops in our head that the work follows us home, whether we sit down and do it or not. And I know this because for years, I literally planned for it. I didn't just accidentally take work home. I had a system, a crate. So today we're going to talk about work-life balance in a way that actually fits the life of a secondary classroom teacher, especially when juggling multiple classes, lab realities, and a day that can change on a dime. Not a big overhaul, a close down routine. A way to leave on time more often by finishing one small loop before you walk out. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Khristen Massic, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. There was a season of teaching for me, pre-kids, where I had this crate that went back and forth between school and home. And if you listened to episode 318 a few weeks ago, you might remember me talking about this. I mentioned it in the context of spending my planning period on perfection instead of finishing tasks that would have eventually made my life lighter. But I want to go a layer deeper today because the reason I had that crate is because somewhere along the way, I had accepted something as normal. Of course, I'm going to take work home. So I'd put the crate in my car in the morning like it was part of my job description because I already knew how the day would go. I'd have good intentions during prep. I'd try to grade, plan, create, respond, fix, setup, and then something would happen. A lab setup would take longer than I thought. A tech issue would hijack the whole day. Students would need help in ways you can't ignore. And by the time I got to the end of the day, I'd look at what's still undone and think, well, I guess I'll do it tonight. So the crate became the physical symbol of the mental load I was carrying. And here's what I want to say carefully because I know a lot of teachers live here. Sometimes taking work home feels like relief because it means you don't have to face the unfinished pile right now. But it's a fake relief because you don't actually stop thinking about it. You just relocate it. And over time, that's where work-life balance disappears. Not because you don't care, but because your brain never gets a true closed moment. So what changed for me wasn't a magical increase in free time. It was learning how to close the day with intention, even when the day wasn't perfect. So what I want you to get from today's episode is work-life balance isn't found in catching up. It's found by closing one loop before you leave. All right, let's dive into the first strategy. Stop trying to finish everything. Pick one closing loop. One reason teachers struggle to leave is that end of day feels like walking into a room with 10 people talking at once. Email, grades, tomorrow, materials, a student issue, a parent message, a lab that needs resetting, a lesson that needs tweaking, and your brain tries to solve all of it at the same time. So here's the first shift, teacher to teacher. At the end of the day, don't ask, what all do I need to do? Ask, what one loop can I close that will make tomorrow feel lighter? A closed loop might be finalizing tomorrow's directions, grading one class set or one checkpoint, setting up materials so first period doesn't start in chaos, writing the first 5 minutes of tomorrow so you're not winging it, or responding to the one message that's actually urgent. Not everything. One, because closure has a calming effect your brain can feel immediately. All right, let's move on to the next strategy, the 10-minute leave on time routine. Here's a close down routine I wish I'd had. You can do it in 10 minutes. And if you don't have 10 minutes, I'll give you a 2-minute version in a second. So minute 1 to 3, brain dump the open loops. Grab a sticky note, a notepad, or a doc, doesn't matter. And yes, I am the sticky note queen, so that's usually what I reach for. Write down everything that is trying to ride home with you mentally. Not in perfect detail, just enough to get it out of your head. This matters because unfinished tasks tend to stay loud until you capture them somewhere safe. Minutes 4 to 5. Choose tomorrow's anchor task. Look at your brain dump and circle one thing. What is the anchor task you want to complete during your next prep or planning window? Not 5. 1. This is the task that will reduce pressure fastest. Minutes 6 and 7. Make tomorrow start easy. Do one tiny action that makes it easier to start tomorrow. So here are some examples. Open the file you'll need and leave it ready. Put the rubric on your desk. Draft the first 2 bullet points of directions. Stack the materials you'll grab first. Write the first question you'll ask the class. This is not more work. This is removing friction. Minutes 8 to 9. Reset one physical or digital space. So you're going to pick one. Clean your desk just enough that you can start tomorrow. Close the tabs you're done with. File the one pile that's causing stress. Put tools or materials back in their home. This is about reducing visual noise. And then minute 10, write the parking line. This is the line that replaces taking work home mentally. Write, tomorrow during prep, I will, and then fill in the blank. After that, you're going to stop. That sentence is how you close the loop without finishing the whole world. All right, for our final strategy, the 2-minute routine for days that exploded. Some days, the 10-minute routine feels laughable. So here's the 2-minute version. 1, write down the top 3 open loops. 2, circle one anchor task for tomorrow. And 3, write one tomorrow start step you'll do first. That's it. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is a clean handoff to future you, so you don't go home with your brain spinning. If you're thinking, but if I don't take it home, it won't get done. I hear you, but I want to offer a reframe that's saved me in hard seasons. Not everything needs to be finished today to be a good teacher. Some things need to be finished today because students need them tomorrow. Other things feel urgent because they're loud, not because they're essential. And if your default has become, I'll do it at home, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means your day is too full. It means the job expands. It means you've been carrying more than one person should. So this routine isn't about becoming some perfectly balanced person. It's about giving you a way to end the day with dignity, to leave without dragging your mental crate behind you, to create a small, repeatable stop point so home can be home more often. Okay, so your homework is to try this for 3 school days. Not forever, just 3. Before you leave, do the 10-minute routine if you can, or the 2-minute routine if that's all you've got. Then notice the difference. Not in your productivity, but in your nervous system. Do you feel lighter walking out? Do you stop thinking about school sooner? Do you start the next day with less dread? And if you know a classroom teacher who always says, I'll just take it home, send them this episode as a gentle reminder. You're not behind because you're not trying hard enough. You're behind because the work is endless and you deserve a way to stop. Work-life balance isn't about doing less. It's about closing one loop before you leave so your brain gets permission to rest. You don't need to finish everything to be a good teacher. You just need to finish one thing that makes tomorrow lighter. Until next week, take care of yourself and keep protecting your peace. If today's episode was helpful to you, it could be for others. So make sure you share it with your colleagues and tag me on Instagram at Khristen Massic, KHRISTEN MASSIC. Until next week.